and it gave her something back, instead of watching them die too, what would that have given her? Not much. But for her to be able to articulate reasons and to come to that catharsis in herself, she got the closure, she got to save the lives of 3 young men, and she had some closure to it all at the same time. That was a healing process, and all the restorative justice philosophies are about healing and making people whole again. Killing somebody doesn't do anything in that way. It just perpetrates more violence and more violence. And then there's the cost. The simple cost. It costs $250 million per death penalty case. Is that an eye-opener? For one. Yeah. That statistic comes out from Amnesty International. The reason the number is so outrageous is because death penalty trials take so much more time and so much more expense than any regular run-of-the-mill murder case where the person's only looking at a life in prison sentence. The experts that we have to hire, the degree of research that we have to do, and putting together the death penalty second part of the trial. There's 2 parts in a death penalty case. One's the guilt phase, and then it switches over to the life or death phase. The life or death phase is all about presenting information about a person's background, their family, their school history, the people they had contact with. So it takes an enormous amount of money to track all these people down, to get all the records, to subpoena the people to court, to bring them here, to have them testify in front of a jury so the jury can make that decision. It's a very expensive proposition. And then you get the cost of, in California, they just built a brand new death penalty, or a prison to house people on death row. That was millions and millions and millions of dollars of taxpayers' money to build these special units, because people that are on death row are treated much differently than anybody else, even first-degree murderers. So there's that cost. There's the cost of the corrections officers that have to monitor these folks in prison in the special circumstances and the special housing that they have to have. And all that money is taken away from the schools, it's taken away from law enforcement, it's taken away from a lot of other good resources that we could use to make society a better place to live, than to use it to spend to hold somebody for as long as we do to execute them. And
now, how does the cost compare to someone's life in prison?
It's not even close.
No.
Let me see if I can get my fingers on the specific, because I did look at that. The annual cost right now in California of the death penalty system is $137 million a year. If they improved it with the recommendations that the Commission has requested, to be $232.7 million.
That's just for one?
No, that's for the system in California right now. And if they reduced the death penalty, the people that are eligible for the death penalty, it would reduce it to $130 million. And if they eliminated the death penalty, it would cost $11 million a year. So it would be much less money spent. I mean, enormous, 10 times. When you're talking in millions and millions of dollars, and this is just California. Then you look at the other states and multiply it by 50. There's, I think, something like 15 states that have already abolished the death penalty, that don't have it at all. And then there's the governor in Illinois that commuted every single death penalty sentence in the state, because he was uncertain about the validity of the convictions, and I think somewhat concerned about the racial issues. Half the people on death row, or 42% of the people on death row, are black. They don't make up 42% of the population. So it's unfairly administered. It's a very negative system, and it doesn't have anything positive at the other end. So my conclusion would be, let's do away with it. People that commit those kinds of crimes should spend the rest of their lives in prison, and we can afford that. Killing them is something I don't think we can afford anymore.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Wow.